when I've been watching your content, I've been watching your content pretty much since you've been putting it out, because that's just kind of what I do. I just watch stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big, like, even before making content and stuff, like, I'm a big YouTube person. Like, in terms of like I like a good bit of sci-fi, as you maybe know, and a few other bits and pieces, and I'm always just on YouTube watching stuff. So anyway, like, your content really grabbed my attention when you first brought it out, because it's like very well scripted, very well delivered and everything, but it's really captured my attention, my imagination much more over the last couple of episodes when you've done this whole, and I'm sure you'll be going into it in much more detail over the next weeks and months in your own content, but this transition you've made from limited to rare has been like stellar. Execution's been almost pinpoint.
Well, thanks for saying so. I have my doubts. Like, I'm always doubting myself when I think about these things. And even before we get started, I just wanted to say that before I started making my content, I consumed all of your content, and pretty much everyone who's put out Sorare content on YouTube, I consumed it all. And thanks to you, I really got into it. Like the podcasts, you and everyone else who makes content in the community. So you're a big help.
Thanks.
But yeah, my transition, for people who don't know, I started out going hard into limited, and I only owned limited cards for like the whole first month or so. I was winning rewards, like 50% win rate. I had a great gallery. And then something happened one day where I was like, you know what? I need to move up to rares. And I've basically now sold all my limited cards. The last episode I did on YouTube, I had like 6 limited cards. They're gone now. Wow. They're gone. Yeah. But why did you find that so interesting that my move from limited to rares?
So one thing I'm forever trying to keep put myself in the shoes of is like people coming on the now, to just try and understand, things that are fun still, things that aren't as fun that I might enjoy, or difficulties, teething problems, these kind of things when people are new. And I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we were chatting when you first opened your account, and it's the advice I give everyone, but I'm pretty sure we had this chat where it's like, the best thing you can do is get players that you like and you follow, and you can enjoy like following the game, because like, me, as much as anyone else, loves all the ROI stuff that kicks about, flipping cards and buying low, selling high, and all that kind of caper. But so much of the fun element gets overlooked or undervalued. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure that's the chat we had. And
no, we definitely did.
Yeah, you seem to like really take that, and like you say, 50% win ratio. You were picking up guys that you loved, that you knew about already, you could really engage with. So seeing, because not many people like, and again, I'm going to say this, doing my best not to sound like an asshole, but the amount of people that ask you for advice and then they just kind of do what they want anyway, or they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. There's very few people that, when I say something like that, like, listen, just get what you know, have fun, and don't worry about ROI for the first little while. You'll make mistakes and then learn as you go. You've done that, like, the execution's been like perfect. You did that. You went in 50% win ratio. You managed to sell them all for pretty tidy profits, and then the rares you're picking up, they're, and that's part of the thing that I think the execution on what you've done has been so stellar. We'll get back to the video in just a quick second. I've been making content helping people get started with Sorare for the last 2 years, and thankfully the content has helped thousands of people. Down to the support I've had back for you guys, the channel's managed to grow and expand, and we've taken on a studio, and I'm hoping throughout the rest of the year 2022 I can bring you guys the best football, the best Sorare content possible. For the last 2 years, Sorare have been massive fans of the content, and the support they've given us is down to the link in the description of this video. If you haven't opened your account yet, Sorare give all of my viewers a free card for signing up using that link in the description. All you need to do is click the link, sign up directly. Once you've bought 5 from the market, you get a free card from Sorare. You can sell it, you can keep it, you can do whatever you want with it. Huge fans of the channel. Fanatics.com, one of the biggest retailers in the world of sports goods, whether it be NFL, NBA, football, shirts, tracksuits, hoodies, all officially licensed, and they want to support the content, they want to support the channel by giving you guys, the audience, special exclusive discounts to all of these items and many more. If you are going to buy any sportswear this year, then using that link in the description goes directly to supporting the content here at Quinny 3001 and Sorare TV. And I can't thank you enough for your continued support, guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Is the rares you're picking up are not compromised cards. You're still getting rares that are of a similar caliber to what your limiteds were-ish, and it's not like, oh, I'm moving up to rare now, so I can't get a starting forwards. I'll get this rotational third choice guy in Belgium. You're still going out and picking up guys that are worth a hit, that are worth getting. So that's why it's been so impressive for me to watch.
Well, I was lucky enough to start off with a bounce that I was able to pick up those kind of players that were really hot and in demand, especially like around the time that I've only been here since November. Like I'm
Wow.
relatively late, and I feel like a newbie. I'm still learning all the time, but I was picking up players like Florian Wirtz and Bastoni for 0.04, and he's limited, and Botman when he was injured for 0.04, and then they all tripled, and Wirtz hit more form, and yeah, I made a ton on them. So I pretty much doubled my ETH from 3 to 6 in a month and a half. And then at that point, you're like, well, I've got these cards that are all selling for 0.3, 0.4. I had a Vinicius that I picked up for a 0.1 something, and he was up to 0.5. And I was like, you know what? I should be moving to rares because these limited cards are going for rare prices at this point. Like, it was getting silly. So I was like, why wouldn't I go and try and compete in where there's far less competition? It seems like everyone's making the move now from limited to rares. Like, I've seen so many people like, I'm selling all my limiteds, I'm moving to rares. Like, so many content creators too. I don't know if we're all influencing each other, but it's getting to that point where people who started out with a relatively good budget around the same time as me are like, all right, now time to move up because we can. But it's interesting to think that, like, in your opinion, that I've moved to a point where I'm picking up cards that are still competitive, because I'm starting to feel like I don't know if I'm going to be able to compete even now with the cards that I'm picking up. So I did move to a point where I was like, all right, I'm just going to build one team and this is going to be my all-star. But then I realized that, I'm still going to have those rotation risks. I'm still going to have injuries. I'm still going to have DMPs no matter what. So why wouldn't I try and focus? And even since then, I've kind of sold some more cards and transitioned to solely U23, because I feel like if I have a good solid base of 15, 16, 17 really good U23s, if I fall into those traps of, because this is what I did in Limited, right? Limited, I started off basically solely focusing on U23s and diversifying, so that when I was running into those kind of dramas where someone was out or someone was injured, for example, like Botman and Bastoni were injured, or someone suspended, like Vinicius is suspended, I could just switch out and really focus on one division, and then play my scraps in another division. I was ending up winning cards in U23, but also in the leagues that I wasn't focusing on. So I've kind of done that and moved up to rares and done the exact same thing. I realized, you know what? This is what worked in limiteds. Try it in rares and see what happens. Go from there.
Yeah. Well, as I say, but with the cards, I had to bring it up just to remember, because we've been chatting while we've been kind of going and picking these guys up. But like Julian Araujo, Almendra, Tani, Vinicius Souza, Matias Cunha, Munayin, Hoffman, who else grabbed my attention? I like Sekigawa. Eric Martel, I seen you doing a post about him. I think it was this morning or last night. And then just recently you've picked up Devikas. These guys are like on most people's shopping lists. If you're to say, like, go and get X caliber of card, you know, that's what I mean. Like, these aren't like these guys that you're picking up for your front line, your main team. They're not compromised pieces. You know, they're very much like, if I was going to bet, the best U23 defender in America, in my personal opinion, is Araujo. You've got him. Almendra is not far off the same thing in South America. You know, Vinicius Souza, need I say more?
I'm hoping he keeps it up. I'm hoping he keeps this run of form, because I'm hoping it's just not a big burst. But I did have a look at some of the underlying data, and I was like, yeah, it's not going away.
It's repeatable stuff he's doing. He's not scoring worldies every week. You know, he's just connecting passes, winning interceptions.
I think he's got 1 goal, 1 assist. So he's all AA. He's not decisive at all. So and it's the same with Tchouameni. Tchouameni's got some great. He's had some decisives, but he is all AA, and everyone's like falling in love with him, and he's rocketed up in price. I had his limited, and I had to sell it on, obviously, but I was loving it.
Yeah. So that was my kind of, because when we were chatting and you were like picking some of these guys up, and then when I see your posts, because your post, everyone watches your posts because they're really good. All your signings, you know, the little kind of, you know, the little GIF kind of thing that you put together. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't enjoy seeing them pop up on the timeline.
Oh, the rewards video, yeah.
The rewards video, and no, but you've done it. I think actually for the new signing, it's not a motion one. It's just a picture. But yeah, I don't think anyone is unhappy to see that on the timeline. But again, whenever I see them, like Eric Martel, I'm a big fan of. As like I've said already, they're not compromised pieces. And the thing that I've really enjoyed about watching that is when limiteds were introduced roughly about the time you joined the platform, the point of them was to be the gateway to come in, learn the game, should be cheaper. Fair enough, you need a balance to still buy the things. They're still not like pennies, they still cost a few quid, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it was as little as 3 months, you know. So that transition from like really cutting your teeth with the limiteds, and you know, you bought well, you've sold well, and then when you make that move up again, like I say, the most impressive thing is most of these cards that you've got are very much like active pieces. They're not compromised ones where it's like, oh, I hope this guy's okay. You know.
I'm still hoping though. I still don't have like I feel like everyone's in the same boat. Where, like I have doubts, or I don't like have the courage of my conviction sometimes. But we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. But I feel like I did when I first started, where I was going in completely blind or feeling like I had no grip on the division. Whereas in limited, I felt like I knew where I was.
Yeah.
But that's kind of exciting. Like I've probably made some mistakes and I'll probably lose some value in my cards, but I've earned the right to because I have increased it so much. So if it does go down, whatever, I don't care.
I'm with you. And that kind of sentiment you've got is kind of where I'm at with a lot of cards, because I've had them for so long, and the situation I'm in is obviously totally different. That's kind of what I was saying to you before, or you know, the beginning of this is like, I'm forever trying to keep myself in as much as I can the new person's shoes. And because a lot of my cards and a lot of things that happen in the market, I can kind of just shrug it off and just think, well, even if it did go, if Depay breaks his leg or Sané never plays again or whatever, like I've done all right out that card while I've had it. You know, like, yeah, it'll be a kick in the stones to not sell it for £1 million or in the future. But, you know, you've got to be a realist with it, you know. And like you say, you've kind of earned the right to take a loss if, you know, you maybe did pay a little bit too much for one or two of these cards as time went on, perhaps, if you do get that churn out. So
that's what I like about your gallery too. You have the connection to the players. And if something's really important, then I would encourage anyone who starts out to really pick up players that they like. It is important to focus on cards that do score well. Like, you know that they're going to be good in SO5, or they will have a good game week at some point. But you have to like them. You have to have some sort of connection. And that's why I really enjoy your content, because it's like you've got your favorites and you've got players that you like and players that you don't like. And there's some players that you don't like who are good, and there's some players that you do like who are also good. So it's really up to you. And that's what's fun about Sorare that I've found.
Totally. I'm with you all the way on that, you know, because like it is football. And again, like I kind of mentioned earlier, so much of the game is ROI focused and market focused. What's ETH doing? Is limited's up or rare's up? What's going on?
Yeah.
And it's funny. I was actually thinking about this last night just before going to bed. It's like, I think I was listening to a podcast. I can't remember whose one it was. For me, like, if the game isn't fun or if I wasn't engaged in it, like, there's plenty of that. Oh, what was that I was listening to? There's tons of things out there, crypto wise, football wise, speculation wise. So many things you can do with your money to have an investment opportunity to do ROI and whatever. And for me, none of them are fun, and that's why I don't do any of them. You know, like I've got a big banker pal who's maybe heard me refer to over the piece, and he's forever saying to me, "Oh, Quinny, you should be putting some of your money into this, and you'll get 4% a year and stuff like that." But I'm like, "Yeah, mate, but that's not any fun." Like, fair enough, I'm sure it's a great thing and all the rest of it. None of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but it's not fun, so I'm probably never going to do it. You know, I would much rather, like with that money, what I used to do in the past before the content kind of got a bit bigger, is I'd go and buy like memorabilia of stuff for, you know, because that's fun. You know, if I'm like thinking I'll go and hide some of my money into something I can sell later on, then yeah, stocks and shares and bonds and all that's interesting, and you know, there's benefits to it and all the rest of it. But I'd much rather have a limited edition signed boxed mint in box fucking something, you know, like,
yeah,
that's just more fun to me, you know.
I think it's also the joy of the game, right? Some people really like trading and some people want to try and make as much money as possible, and that's great. Totally. But I actually use my gallery value and my fiat, like my value in fiat terms, as a measure for my series that I'm doing. But that's not my focus. Like, I've explained it so many times in my videos. It's like, that's not really what my focus is. My focus is on having fun. I'm just using this as a progression bar sort of thing. Like, how are we measuring, like, how we're progressing? Yeah. Because I'm sure lots of people would do that, but and I found that people are coming over from FIFA and they're wanting to be traders and whatnot, and they're trying to like grind out as much money as possible. I'm like, cool, but are you really having fun? I guess they are having fun, but it's not really what the game is designed for. But then again, the game, you can play it how you want it, and that's why I love it so much. And I'm absolutely obsessed. Like, I can't stop thinking about Sorare. I feel like a lot of people are the same.
Mate, I was the exact same. I've got a big. I won't mention it now because I don't know where the deal's going to go. But I've got a big negotiation on Discord with a guy, and he's clearly went to bed. And I'm like, mate, just going to wake up, like,
I'm not.
just going to wake up.
I was going to talk to you about that because trading, when I'm selling stuff, especially now that I've moved up to res, is an absolute ball ache because there's no way to actually communicate properly with people on the platform. Like, if they don't have Discord, you're just sending off offers into the blue, like into the dark, just hoping some guy's going to check his emails or like actually go on the platform. Someone who lists a card for sale, like I'm trying to pick up a U23 goalkeeper at the moment. Like half of them don't have Discord, and I'm just sending off offers into the dark, being like, I hope you guys accept this, and I'll try you, I guess, because you're not responding. It's the sooner they implement some sort of system where you can like communicate in the actual Sorare platform, the better. And I'm sure they're working on it, but it needs to come. It needs to come sooner.
It'll be Game Buster, won't it? For sure. Like, see what I used to do maybe about a year ago for about 2 or 3 months is I used to try and find like old accounts, right? Like guys that had an account for ages, maybe they never came back. And then what I would do is I would like spam them offers, like 10, 12 of them in a day, like offer, cancel. Because like if they've got like, and again, I don't know if this is exactly the sort of people that you're trying to negotiate with, but there is some of them out there and I recommend you just give this a try. It is yet to pay off for me, but some of these accounts are people that, well, I had an account ages ago, got a couple of cards, and then hopefully they've not lost their passwords, but for whatever reason, they've not went back in and logged in. So I assume, first and foremost, that the emails are going to get spam filtered or something, or they maybe not catch it, maybe get buried in other emails, because you know what it's like in your email inbox. It's very easy to overlook one email. Yeah. So I used to find accounts and they would have like a bunch of Jupiler League players that they were picking up for like £2 and £3 each, like super rares and stuff. And I would just like spam them like 12 offers in a day. Hopefully they'll see an email and then maybe list it, or I'll maybe leave the 12th offer in. It'll be a decent offer, something they would hopefully accept. And then hopefully they would come back. It, like I said at the tip off, it never paid off for me. But with those people, I was always like, oh my God, I bet you this guy would definitely sell it for more than he paid for it and way under what Sorare data says, because there's no way this guy's on Sorare data. He's not even on Sorare anymore, you know.
Well, the guys I'm talking about, like, people have actually listed the cards, so they've been on the platform in the last 2 days or whatever. So they just, I feel like they just list cards and then just disappear. I'm like, where have you gone? Please respond to this. Tell me like what you want from me. Like, I'm just trying to pick up a card. So please help me.
That's it, man. Aye, I've had a few of them. I actually, through the same kind of thing, I think I reawakened an account. So I found a guy, as you know, I've got a super rare Tonali right now. I was kind of hunting down that Tonali, not that specific card, but a super rare one for about 6 months. And my main target, I think the guy might even still have the card. I can't remember his name now. But he bought it on a bundle and he picked up a Japanese unique and he had like 10 cards total. And it was a real random, who knows why he bought all these cards. And
he clearly wasn't playing SO5 then.
No, he wasn't playing SO5. I think it's maybe sold on now. I'll try and find the account. Yeah, hot. So if any of you want to check this out, I'll put it on screen. But the guy's called Hottest Spot in Town, all one word. You can find him on. He's got one follower. It might be me. No, it's not. And I think he's still got a unique. He bought 10 months ago and a super rare and a couple of rares, and that's all he's got is 4 cards now. But anyway, so I was after a Tonali, and I could see this guy come in 1 day, 2 days, and like bought a bunch of cards, and then like went away, never came back. And
Gary V
doesn't have Discord, yeah. But I started sending him offers for the Tonali, and I think it reawakened him, and he started listing it all the time. But he was listing it for like what he paid for the bundle. And I was trying to get it, obviously, at what I would see as a fair price. Obviously, he would be taking a loss, which is unfortunate for him, just with the way ETH was going and, you know, buying in a bundle, you know, he's trying to sell it anyway.
Yeah.
And I've forever had the same frustrations as you, because the guy was clearly like rejecting my offers, and then he was like delist and relist and do all that stuff. And I was like, mate, I wish I could just talk to you for a minute and just say, listen, you're not going to get anyone to pay 4 ETH for that card, but I'll give you an ETH and a half for now. Like, that's a good price, you know? And it just didn't go anywhere. I eventually got one for much cheaper, in fact, you know, but I was just trying to target this one guy for about 4 months. I wasn't telling anyone I was going after Tonali, and I wasn't telling anyone about this account, obviously. But so I feel the pain, yeah. And as soon as we get some sort of like old school MSN style messenger like built into Sorare, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Blast from the past.
Well, even
All the
something
better.
like I've heard this mentioned a few times, but something to translate through the language barrier of like 3 or 4 options, like I will accept this much more or this much less, or just a way to quickly communicate. Like, you give me some quick options, like an A, B, and a C.
Nowhere near.
Yeah, I get that a
Miles
lot.
off, buddy.
Yeah,
You get
that's
that?
probably my least favorite part of the entire game. Like, talking to people and trying to get a deal done. It's like, what are we doing?
Matt, in terms of Discord, like, I did a video. I might be in a members, it might be a member section video. So sorry if anyone that's not seen it, but it's called Negotiating 101. And see, with Discord, like my best advice for people on Discord, this isn't, it's just kind of come into my head, Sojiwa, when you were saying that there, is like, I treat everyone on Discord like they don't speak English, if you know what I mean, when I'm, messaging them and whatever. So I always make sure, like, when I'm chatting to them, all my language is very, like, just very simple and direct. I hate when you go into Discord conversations with people and they want to give you a big story about why their card's so amazing, or it's everyone's kind of pet peeve. So I always like stay well clear of that and just try and keep it to, like, just punchlines. Kind of what you're saying there. If they had like some sort of preset messages that they could auto translate and you can just ping them cross platform, they would be a godsend.
I'm sure it's something they can do. I'm sure they'll do it at some point, but
yeah, you'd hope so.
Until that time, we're going to be stuck here. I had something like that the other day, actually, with my Tanny card. I picked up a Tanny, right?
Yep.
And I sent the guy an offer on Discord, and I was like, all right, this is what I'm willing to pay for the card. Like, there weren't that many listed. I think there was 1 or 2, and they were way above what the average was. So I was like, you know what, I'll just look at what the average was. Like, I'll give him a good price, and I'll offer that because I wanted a Tanny, right? Because we're coming up to him being back, and I want to have a U23 goalkeeper to play over the summer as well. And hopefully he stays fit. So I sent him an offer. He said, nah, I want to keep him. And I was like, okay, cool. And I left it a day or 2. And then it got further down the track. And then he got back to me and he's like, oh, do you still want to get the Tanny? I was like, yeah, cool. And then he gave me this long story about how he was going to go on vacation and he needed the money and he's thinking of leaving Sorare. And I'm like, all right, cool. You're giving me the story, but yeah, I'll pick up the Tanny. And then, so I sold him the Tanny. And then like literally 20 minutes later, I see that he's picked up another Tanny from the current season for lower than the price. So he's basically done me. He's gone and negotiated with the other guy and been like, I'll pick up your Tanny. But he didn't need to give me the story of like, I want to go on vacation. I need the money. I'm like, why just say, yeah, I want to pick up the Tanny. I don't need to hear your random lie like about you going on vacation and leaving Sorare. You're obviously not leaving. So I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was so funny. It was like, you've well played, sir, but I didn't need to have the spiel.
Yeah, I stuff like that, man. It just makes you laugh, doesn't it?